এইচএস সেকেন্ড ইয়ার এর ইকোনমিক্স বিভাগের গ্রুপ এর দ্বিতীয় বিভাগ চ্যাপ্টার থিওরি অফ কনজিউমার বিহেভিয়ারের দ্বিতীয় পার্ট আলোচনা করা শুরু করছি। State and explain the law of demand. The law of demand explains that when price increases, demand of the commodity contracts, and when price decreases, demand expands. In other words, when price is high, demand will be low, and vice versa. The following demand schedule verifies this law. Price of ice cream, demand for ice cream, 2, 5, 4, 4, 6, 3, 8, 2. এর মতলব যখন জিনিসের প্রাইস অফ আইসক্রিম, যখন আইসক্রিমের দাম 2 টাকা ছিল তখন মানুষের চাহিদা ছিল 5 জন মানুষের চাহিদা ছিল। যখন 4 টাকায় আসলো তখন চার জন মানুষের চাহিদা ছিল। যখন 6 টাকা চলে আসলো, দাম বেড়ে গেল, তখন মানুষের চাহিদা কী হলো? কমে গেল। আবার 8 টাকায় আসলো, মানুষের চাহিদা আরও কমে গেল। এইভাবে this can be represented by the following diagram. In the above diagram, on OX axis quantity demanded of the commodity, and on OY axis the price of the commodity is measured. Commodity is measured. When price is very high, that is 8 rupees, the demand is low, that is 2. When price falls to 6, then demand increases, that is 3 units. In the same way, when price falls to 2, then the quantity of demand is maximum high, that is 5 units. Here DD is the demand curve, which is falling from left to right, showing inverse relation of price and demand. Explain the concept of price elasticity of demand. The price elasticity of demand quantifies the effect of a change in own price on the quantity demanded. The concept of elasticity captures the magnitude of change or the degree of responsiveness. It is defined as ED equal to percentage change in quantity demanded by percentage change in the own price, ED Q by del O by del P by PO, where dq equal to q1 minus q0, dp equal to p1 minus p0. q1 quantity after change, q0 original quantity, p1 price after change, po original price. The factors affecting price elasticity of demand are as follows. Number 1, availability of close substitutes. If close substitutes of product are readily available, its price elasticity of demand is likely to be high, because even a very small increase in price will make consumers switch to other products in a big way. Otherwise, in the absence of close substitutes, the elasticity is likely to be small. Number 2, proportion of total expenditure spent on the product. If the amount spent on a product constitutes a very small fraction of the total expenditure on all goods and services you consume, then the price elasticity is likely to be small. The demand for salt is an example. On the other hand, if it is a high price item and takes a major portion of your total expenditure, the elasticity of demand is likely to be high. What is a demand function? Demand function states the functional relationship between quantity demanded for a particular commodity and the factors affecting it. Demand function can be either with respect to one consumer or to all the consumers in the market. Number 1, individual demand function refers to the functional relationship between quantity demanded of a commodity by an individual consumer and the factors affecting it. These factors are none other than the determinants of individual demand. dx equal to f bracket px comma pr y comma t comma f, where dx equal to demand for good x, f equal to functional relationship, pr prices of related goods, px price of the given commodity x, y income of the consumer, t tastes and preferences, f expectation of change in the price in future. Number two, market demand function refers to the functional relationship between quantity demanded of a commodity by all the consumers and the factors affecting it. dx equal to f px p r y t f p o s comma d. The factors of market demand are same as that of individual demand. Expect the following: PO equal to size and composition of the population, S season and weather, D distribution of income. Then describe how price elasticity of demand for a good depends on its nature. If the commodity is a necessity, for example, a change in its price will not affect the quantity demanded for it by a greater proportion, because food is necessary for survival. Hence, necessities are inelastic. On the other hand, the purchase of a luxury that, for example, car can be postponed if there is an increase in the price because they are not necessary for survival. Hence, they are elastic. State the assumption under which the demand curve of a commodity is drawn. Of a consumer is drawn. Other things remaining the same or ceteris is paribus. Price of substitute commodities do not change. Number two, price of complementary commodities also do not change. Number three, income of consumer remains constant. Prices of complementary commodities also do not change. Number three, income of consumer remains constant. Number four, tastes and preferences of a consumer remains unchanged. Number five, prices are not expected to change in the future. Explain the substitution effect in the context of consumers' demand. Substitute effect refers to the act of replacing one commodity, say, with another, say Y, when the latter Y becomes relatively cheaper. Full stop. As a result, its relative demand rises. Similarly, when the price of the given commodity rises, comma, its demand decreases. For example, the price of both Sprite and Mount Dew is rupees 12. If the price of Mount Dew comes down to rupees 8 and the price of Sprite remains the same, consumer will shift to Mount Dew and its demand will increase. Show graphically how market demand curve can be derived from individual demand curve. The law of demand can be illustrated with the help of a demand schedule and a demand curve. Demand schedule: the table relating to price and quantity demanded is called the demand schedule. Demand schedule is of two types: individual demand schedule, market demand schedule. When we represent the quantity demanded by an individual for a given commodity per unit of time against the price of commodity in a tabular form, that is obtained the individual demand schedule. When the demand for a market is represented in a tabular manner, we get the market demand schedule. A market demand schedule is obtained by the horizontal summation various individual demand schedules at each given price. This can be cleared by the following table: individual oblique market demand schedule, price of ice cream, A is demand, B is demand, market demand. 1, S demand 4, B demand 5, total demand 9. Price of ice cream 2, S demand 3, B's demand 4. 3 plus 4 together 7. This way. The above table shows two individual demand schedule of household A and B, a market demand schedule. All these schedules show that as the price of ice cream goes on rising, quantity demanded bracket individual as well as market goes on falling. Households A and B demand less ice cream at given price and vice versa. For instance, we find that at price of rupees 1 per ice cream, 9 ice cream are being demanded in the market, and when the price rises to rupees 2 per ice cream, now 7 ice cream are demanded. Thus, individual demand schedule and market demand schedule show inverse relationship between the price and quantity demanded. Demand curve. A demand curve is the graphical representation of the relationship between the price and quantity demanded of a commodity. It can be obtained by joining all points that reflect the various combinations of price and quantity demanded of the commodity. A demand curve, price, B demand curve, market demand curve. In the above diagram, quantity demand is measured along x-axis and price of ice cream along y-axis. By different price quantity combination, we obtain individual demanded curve as represented by the curves dA and dA and dB. We also obtain a market demand curve dr, which is the horizontal summation of individual demand curves. Market demand is the demand of all the consumers takes together. Show the shift in demand curve and explain the situation under which it changes. The demand of a commodity affected by changes in the price of substitute and complementary good. Number 1. Change in the price of substitute goods. Tea and coffee are substitute goods. An increase or decrease in the price of a substitute good, coffee, shifts the demand curve for a product tea of the right left. It can be explained with the help of following diagrams. Demand for tea increase in the price of coffee. Demand of tea decrease in the price of coffee. In this diagram, it is clear that with the increase or decrease in the price of substitute, demand curve of tea shifts from DD to D dash D dash. Number 2. Change in the price of complementary goods. Tea and sugar are complementary in consumption. If the price of tea goes up, the quantity demand of tea should fall, which will reduce the demand for sugar. Petrol and cars are also complementary goods. Thus, an increase or decrease in the price of a complementary good shifts the demand curve for a product to the left or right. This is also known as cross price effects. It can be explained with the help of following diagram. It is clear from diagram that increase or decrease in the price of complementary good will shift the demand curve of a product DD to D1. Question number 26. What does the slope of the consumer's budget line determine? The slope of budget line shows the price ratio of two commodities on the x-axis and y-axis respectively. In other words, slope of the budget line I equal to px by py. where Px equal to price of commodity on x axis, Py equal to price of commodity on y axis.